Welcome back, everybody! My name is BluJay, and we are back at the Reverb Outpost. I'm just setting up a quick little trap here, if I can do it correctly. Let's take that door back out, there we go, and place it back down. There we go. And if you've never seen one of these before, you basically put 4 doors around a pressure plate, and you jump on it, and there you go. You're trapped. So we'll take that back out so we can get out of here, but I'm doing this because we found something. I was doing a bit of exploring, looking for the location for our next build, and we found a very, very rare mob that is quite dangerous and, might I say, quite explosive and destructive. Oh, you might have gotten a glimpse of him over there in the cave. He's hiding out, and oh, no. Okay, he survived. Okay, well, let's get out of here really quickly and try to lure him over. You see that? It's not just any regular old creeper. That's a charged creeper, which means he got struck by lightning. And those do not appear very often. In my years of playing Minecraft, I've seen this on other YouTubers' channels, but I've literally never seen this in-game until today. Oh, come on. Go into that trap. Oh, come on. Yes! It was successful! We got him. We got him. Okay, so we are going to keep him in there, and we're going to be very careful not to get too close. Because I'm not sure if he'll get set off by us walking by the doors. It looks like he's still tracking us. And we definitely... Oh, that's not what I wanted to happen, but okay, I guess we'll work with that. I don't want to open those doors by accident, and I don't want him to get set off by us getting too close. Can I place this log on top of there, please? Maybe? Okay, you know what? Let's go to the side. We'll place it there, and just kind of do a little loop-de-loop over the top of the door frame. And you know what? We're just going to completely encase this guy because I'm afraid that when I walk by here, he might get set off and we would lose our charged creeper. We do not want to lose this guy. I'm not sure what we're going to do with him yet, but you know what? Here's what I think we're going to name him. We're going to name this guy Waldo, because he's so hard to find. You know, where's Waldo? Waldo the Charged Creeper. That is now his name forevermore. And I don't have any name tags, sadly, so I'm not going to be able to name this guy, so hopefully he won't despawn. As soon as I can get my hands on a name tag, we will do so. But that might be a little while, because I haven't gone fishing on this world yet, because there's not really a good place to do that. I need to make like an underground fishing hole, because, you know, any water above ground in a snow biome just freezes and turns to ice. So we need to figure out a place to do some fishing a little later on. All right, so now that I've captured that guy and he's safe and sound, Waldo the Charged Creeper, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and then we'll get started with our build for today. I just wanted to show you guys this really quick. We're not going to do a whole lot of work on this particular doorway right here, but this is where we're going to carve out some space that will eventually lead to our build for today. We are going to dig like a small tunnel just so we know where we're going to end up. But we are not going to do any kind of aesthetic design on this tunnel today, so it's going to look a little ugly for a while. But if you haven't figured it out already by the thumbnail, or just making sure I got the correct number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the pillar. And then that leaves a 3 wide gap in that door frame. Okay. Yeah, I think I got it. Okay, let's go back over to the other side and make sure we keep digging. So if you haven't figured it out by the thumbnail or by the title, we are building, finally, an iron golem farm. It's been a long time coming for this series. I actually built it in episode 5 of season 1, and so we are a little bit behind on getting ourselves a consistent flow and source of iron, and that's important, especially for things like, you know, we built an auto smelter, which requires hoppers, which requires a lot of iron. Eventually, we're going to get around to a massive auto sorting storage system, which will require hoppers as well, and just other things that, you know, we'll need iron for, like the Patreon section when we create new armor stands with iron armor and iron swords and all of that, and we use iron shovels shovels for gathering snow so we don't break our nice shovels and all of that. So there's a pretty great need for iron on this world. And so we're going to go ahead and take care of a consistent source of that today. All right, got the entryway somewhat finished here, and that's about it for that. We're going to move on down this little tunnel where I have scouted out a location for our iron golem farm, and this is it right here. And actually, we're going to go above ground. We're not going to stay right here for long. We'll dig this out eventually for making space for the farm itself, but here we go. I got myself a bed and a chest to store our items in, and I've got a bed over here because this is going to take quite a few nights. This is not going to happen very quickly because these farms take quite a long time to build. So I've got some cobblestone here, and I'll throw a couple stacks in my hot bar just to have those all ready to go. And I think we're going to start... Is this the block I pillared up on? Yeah. I think maybe we'll start there. Well, yeah, I don't think so. You know what? Let's go over here. Let's start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, was that 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and we got to dig that snow block out for 20. And then we're going to go 20 blocks the other direction. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that where I'm supposed to place that? No, it's not. That's too far forward. So there's 8, that ice block. There's 9. We'll take you back out. And there is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So it's a 20 by 20 platform, and now that we have got both directions laid out, we can stop the counting and just visualize where it's going to go. But this is basically the same design that we built in Season 1. It's an effective design. It works really well. It's efficient. It produces enough iron for a single-player world. It doesn't, like, produce thousands and thousands upon thousands of stacks of iron per hour, but I'm not all that concerned about that much because, like I said, it's a single-player world, so we don't need an infinite source. We just need enough to keep us going. So if you guys have a better design, I'm open to doing a new design in the future, but I've found that this one works well. And since it works, we're going to keep it. And yeah, now that we've got this this outlined, I think I need to start digging out these ice spikes and flattening out the terrain so that we can start placing the actual farm in the spot that it's going to go. So let me take care of that, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we've got our frame in place and all of the land cleared out that we need to, at least for the moment. We're actually going to dig down a little bit more, so there is more land clearing ahead. And there's not a whole lot of need to talk about what's going on with the actual build at the moment, because it's just literally clearing land. So it gives me an opportunity to address something that some of you guys mentioned in a couple of videos ago, and I already spoke to this on my latest Unity episode, but I'm not going to assume that everybody watches both series on my channel. So if you are exclusively watching my single-player content, then I wanted to address this just so you are in the loop as well. So I've had a few comments on my comment section, and it's been kind of a recurring theme that a lot of people have been commenting over and over, and normally, like, I try to address things on an individual basis. If somebody has a comment or a concern, I try to address them individually versus in a video and, you know, inclusive of the entire group. But this is something that pertains to everyone, and so I felt it appropriate to do that here. So something that I've been seeing a lot of is comments about my commentary during my videos. The way that I started out playing on my channel with Season 1 of the Let's Play, the single-player world, I did a lot of just talking about what was going on in game and not a lot of extra outside conversation. And I've kind of gotten away from that lately. I've had a lot of different things that I was, that I thought was interesting and wanted to talk about, but not everybody would probably be interested in some of the things that I want to talk about. So I've gotten this feedback from a few people that have said, hey, please try to keep that kind of commentary to a minimum and just talk about what's going on in the game. We're here to hear you to talk about what you're doing and to watch you play and build some cool stuff and to talk about that, but all this extra conversation, not really interested. So try to keep that to a minimum. And so that's what I want to do. I want to respect that. Ultimately, if I have something that I want to talk about that's important, and we're doing something like this, that's a mindless task, and, I'm not just going to sit here and say, all right, we're going to chop this block, and then this block, and then this block, and for 15 minutes, that's all we're going to say while we're watching this. But most of the time, all this digging and stuff, we're going to do this off camera because it's not completely necessary to the build for you guys to watch this. But it helps you to understand what we're doing as far as the farm goes. But I'll try to keep the external conversations, things about different topics that are not pertaining to the video, to a minimum, unless we're doing a mindless task like this. So I appreciate that feedback. If you guys have suggestions for my channel and for my videos that you would like to see, that you think that would make them better and more entertaining, and would keep your attention a little better, I'm always looking for that kind of feedback. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm going to make the final decision on what kind of content goes into my videos, but I do take into consideration and weigh heavily the feedback that you guys give me, because that is important to me. This channel is just as much for you guys as it is for me. I'm doing it for fun because I enjoy it, but I want you guys to enjoy the videos that you're watching as well. So let me know what you think about that, and that's enough of that for now. The walls are in place for the first layer of our iron farm, and we're going to go ahead and place in the floor for this first section here, and we're just going to go ahead and line all of this just like this. And I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier in the video or not. We've talked about a few things since then, but this iron farm is going to be slightly different. It's the exact same design, different visual design, but exact same functionality. It's going to be a little bit different in location than Season 1. If you remember in Season 1, it was way up in the air. We're building this one at ground level and dropping them below ground because we want this to be part of the base and a place that's accessible from the base. And I've got a pretty cool idea of being able to see the villagers from a certain room. So you can see that they're working on the iron farm and they're part of the base and working to keep the thing functional and all of that. So it's not going to be its own isolated build. It's going to be included in the rest of the base. So that's it for that. We're going to keep building this floor, and then I'll be right back with you in just a moment. The floor is finished, and we've accumulated quite a bit amount of snow because we've done quite a bit of work. And are you ready to go see it? Let's jump on down here, and there it is. We've got both platforms finished and in place, and now it's time to start placing down the doors because that's what calculates a village, which, a village is necessary to spawn iron golems. So 6 doors, 6 cobble, and then 6 more doors, just like that. And we'll do that on every side. And while we're doing this, something that you guys may have noticed, one person actually noticed right away on Twitter when I sent out a screenshot before this video has released. Let me figure out how to get back up here. So if you haven't noticed, we are using a different texture pack today. Now, the cobblestone and the glowstone are both still the ones that I have designed, and those are not going anywhere. Those are staying the same throughout the series, but I have switched over to Faithful 32 by 32. Now, I've been using 64 by 64 since the start of this series, and I still really like it, but I can't seem to get the update correctly, which means that I can't close the recipe book if I choose to do that from time to time. it just stays open. So I'm not sure how to get that updated. I've tried downloading it, and it just says I've got a duplicate, and it just gives me an error. So I switched over to 32 by 32 for the moment until I can figure that out, and I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about this. I know there was kind of a lot of discussion and disagreement about the faithful texture pack that I was using when I first launched this series. A lot of you were like, nope, I don't like 64 by 64. It takes away from the charm of Minecraft, the blockiness of it, and it makes it look too realistic and too smooth. And, you know, I would agree with you that it looks realistic and smooth, but that's kind of the feel that I was going for. But I am willing, again, like I talked about earlier, I'm willing to consider feedback because I want you guys to enjoy the content that I produce. So we're going to give this a try today. There's no better time than the present to give this a shot. So let me know in the comment section what you think about 32 by 32. If you want to keep using it, I'm not opposed to it. Again, I still like the 64 by 64 high definition style textures, but I'm not opposed to this. It still has the same exact look and feel. It's just a little bit lower resolution, and it looks just fine to me. It doesn't affect the look of my builds at all, or the style that we're going to be building, or anything like that. So enough of that for the moment. Right now, what we are doing is building the villager housing areas, or what could we call these? If it's going to be included in the base, and it's going to be like a place where you can look in and see them working. Maybe this is like a little laboratory, or like a science lab, or something, you know, interesting like that. We'll call it like a science lab, but it's basically a prison. They're going in here and they're never coming out. They are basically here to work the iron farm so that the iron golems spawn. And if you don't know how an iron farm works, basically the villagers activate the village, and the village is detected by placing doors all the way around the farm, like we have done. And I can't remember the exact number of doors that it takes to constitute a village, but basically you place down a bunch of doors and have 4 or 5 villagers in each chamber. We'll place one chamber on every side of the farm, just like this. And those 4 to 5 villagers will look at all the doors and say, yep, this is a village. And after a certain amount of time in the center of the village, which happens to be the very center of our iron farm, it will spawn around that center point at random an iron golem from time to time. And I'm not exactly sure how many drops per minute this one produces. I think it's like maybe just under a stack of iron per hour if you were to AFK here. But something else we talked about early on in the series, which again, this is something I'm not really open to feedback on because I've already decided in my mind that I'm going to do it. Doesn't really affect the gameplay, doesn't affect the build at all. I am going to use the ticking area game rule is what it's called, I believe. Which allows this area to stay loaded chunks the entire time, regardless of where I am in the world, which means this iron farm will always stay active. So I'm not sure how many iron per hour this produces, but I think it's somewhere close to like just under a stack per hour, which if I'm playing, you know, several hours working on a build, we're going to accumulate quite a bit of iron, especially even if I didn't have that ticking area game rule on. Even if, you know, we're just tinkering around in the base, we're going to, ooh, ouch. We're going to be over here quite a bit. So this place is going to be loaded anyways. Oh my goodness. That was a little bit terrifying. I wasn't sure what that was at first. I know it's one of those strays, but it didn't look like it at the moment. That was a bit frightening. So anyway, I'm going to finish these chambers here, and then we'll get to working on getting some villagers over here. Well, we've got ourselves a brewing stand, and we'll place that down temporarily right there. That's not going to live there forever, but we need a place to brew some things up, and I've got to come over here and get out of our furnace some glass. Yes, I know we have an auto smelter right across the way in the base. Didn't want to run all the way over there because we're here in the snow cave, and this is where my materials are, so we used the slow furnace. Let's place in our glass bottles. Why is that not going in there? Hello? Oh. You know what? Turns out I need to run over this direction anyway because I forgot. I need to put water in them. You have to have water in the glass bottles in order to put them in the brewing stand. This is like my first rodeo or something. It's like I've never done this before. But we'll run down here to where we built the zombie farm. We have an infinite source right here, and we'll fill up all of these bottles and run back over there and get to brewing. So if you haven't figured out already what we are doing with these potions, we are going to get a splash potion of weakness. This is new. Oh, it's blaze powder, not blaze rods. You have to put blaze powder in the brewing stand now, which is new to 1.2. They never had that before. Like, I've literally never had to do anything except for place the ingredients in, which I guess this adds a new level of challenge. You got to go find blaze powder and stuff, but that's okay. And it looks like it lasts a while, too. It doesn't go through a blaze powder per brewing session. You can put multiple items in before it runs out. That's pretty cool. Yeah, sweet. So if you haven't figured it out, we're making splash potions of weakness because we have actually gone ahead. I went ahead and did this off camera because it is a bit of a tedious process. I have captured a couple of zombie villagers, and we're going to cure them and transform them back into the glorious villagers that they deserve to be, so that they can go from one cage to another, basically. So let me do this, and we'll go cure some villagers. Well, hello there, friends. How are you doing? Are you ready to be transformed back into your old selves? You look like you haven't slept for a while. You got red eyes there. All right, so basically what you do is you throw in a splash potion of weakness, and it should cover both of them, and get a golden apple and feed it to them, and there you go. They're basically almost cured. You just have to sit here and wait. And wait, and wait, and ooh. You know what I didn't think about? One of these villagers is going to transform before the other. Does that mean that the guy that transforms first could potentially get bit by the zombie and immediately be turned back into a zombie villager? Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. Oh, that would be bad. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Should be any time now. Hello? Oh, please don't get him. Oh, that was so close. It looked like he was heading straight for him. Oh, we got a cartographer. Sweet. And a farmer. I found more and more that cartographers are actually pretty common, so that's not incredibly exciting. It's fine. We'll use them at some point to find the Woodland Mansion, and we've already found an ocean monument, so yeah, we'll get some use out of them. On your mark. Get set. Go. 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 Yeah, there we go. All right, Mr. Villager, welcome to your new home. You are now an official employee of the Reverb Outpost. You are a science officer in the iron-producing business. So run on over to your new laboratory and jump on in there and get started working right away. Now, this doesn't work until we populate the entire farm with multiple villagers. 2 villagers is not going to cut it because it won't detect it as enough of a village to need any kind of protection. I think it requires a few more villagers, but yes, it worked. He's in there. He is in the home, ready to do some work for us. And as you can see, we've got some stained glass in here so we can peek in and see what's going on, and we can actually see on into the farm itself. This is not something that was necessary in Season 1 because it was way high in the air, so there was no need to have windows. But I think this is a cool little added feature that we can peek in and see the villagers, and it also serves a double purpose. It's for fun and for aesthetics, but the purpose also is to make sure our villagers, 1, haven't despawned, and 2, are still in there and haven't, transformed into zombie villagers by some freak accident that something spawns in there and, transforms them all, or that they haven't been struck by lightning and turned into witches, because that has actually happened to me right at the very end of Season 1 of the Let's Play. my iron farm stopped working, and somebody pointed it out to me because of the world download. They said, hey, there's a bunch of witches in one of your chambers for the iron farm. It's not working properly. And I was like, I didn't even know that was possible. I put a roof over the top of it, but it was made out of half slabs. So I'm guessing that even with a half slab roof, wow, that's hard to say. Even with a half slab roof, lightning can still strike through that apparently and transform your villagers into witches, which is not fun. But that's okay. We're going to hopefully avoid that this season, and I think we're well on our way. We've got 2 villagers about to be in the first pod, and I will transfer them over from there. Since we are on ground level, that's going to be pretty easy to do. If we were high up in the air, it's a little bit more difficult to transfer those villagers from chamber to chamber. But we'll do it this way. Rather than breeding them here, it's easier to do that at the village itself. And there we go. He's on his way. Let's get some more villagers going in there. Well, hello there, Mr. Farmer. So, yeah, leave in the comment section names for these guys that you would suggest. I don't have any names for our villagers. We had a couple of villager names last season, but we don't have any this time. I didn't come up with any. So if you've got a great villager name that we could name these guys, let me know in the comment section. So we're just filling in this roof here and trapping these guys in. I mean, employing them happily into their new job. And here they will stay as long as possible. So we're going to throw a couple potatoes at these guys, see if we can get a baby villager bred here. And this is the nail biter waiting process once again. Just as we waited for the zombie villagers to transform into regular villagers, let's just throw some more potatoes here in just a second, because they don't look like they're doing anything. We'll wait a little bit longer. I don't want to waste too many potatoes. Hi, what are you doing? Are you staring at me? Do you want more potatoes? You're a cartographer. I already knew that. What are we doing? Why are there no hearts? There's doors. The doors are exposed to the air, to the sky. You can see them. Have some more potatoes. Oh, he threw potatoes. Yeah, there's those lovely hearts. And what do we got? What kind of baby villager do we have? Waiting. This is a waiting game sometimes. There we go. Oh, it's another white coat. What are you going to be? Are you going to be another cartographer, or are you going to be a librarian? What are you going to be when you grow up, buddy? Okay, so I'm going to take care of adding all of the villagers to the chambers and getting this place populated to get our iron farm up and running. And I'll be back with you in just a moment. Lots and lots of happy villagers safely in their laboratory, ready to do some work for BluJay at the Reverb Outpost. And the next thing we need to do is place down the water. Hello. Well, that's good to know that this is working. We have a working iron golem farm. We've already got one iron golem spawned. And I'm trying to figure out what to do, because I need to get in there and place down the water. But this guy, he looks like he's mad at me. And I'm not sure why, because I didn't do anything to upset any villagers, I don't think. And I certainly didn't punch him. Let's get some more bread, because I'm kind of hungry. And we're going to need our strength if we're going to go battle this guy for a minute or two. How can we do this intelligently without, getting clobbered to death? Let's go over here and take a peek. Wow, can he seriously track me through the ceiling? How is that even possible? Okay, well, I can't get you with my sword, but I've got a bow. And you don't stand a chance against Flame 1, Power 4, Infinity, Punch 2. You're not going to last long. I mean, you lasted longer than most other mobs, so props to you for that. But hey, this thing is working, and now we need to place down the water. But actually, before we do that, I'm actually going to dig out the little drop chamber here, just in case any more golems spawn while we're working on this. I quite honestly expect some to, because it's going to take us a few more minutes to finish this up. And hopefully the rates on this farm are pretty consistent and pretty good. So I fully expect another golem or so to spawn while we're still working on this. So let me dig this out, and then we'll get the water in place, and then we are almost done. There's not a whole lot left to do other than to dig out a little staircase down to the bottom of this drop chamber, so that we can, collect our precious iron from our friendly neighborhood giants, the iron golems. You guys still happy in there? Working conditions okay? Well, it seems like they are, because they're all adults in there. And we are down here where I've dug out a tunnel to the bottom of our little drop chamber here. And you can see just on the edge of that little section up there, we've got some water. I've already placed in all the water. I've done this build on camera before in Season 1. If you want to watch that full build where I explain a little bit more about the farm and how it works and the mechanics, be sure to check that out. Or I could potentially build this in blueprints if you guys really want to see like the step-by-step what everything does. We're just waiting to see if an iron golem will drop from our farm. But I'd be willing to potentially build this in an episode of Blueprints and explain all of the step-by-step processes and how things work and how to calculate the villages and all of that. So let me know if you'd like to see this in an episode of Blueprints, and we might be able to make that happen. Otherwise, go back and watch Season 1, Episode 5, I believe it was, that we built the original iron farm in. It's the exact same design, just a different location and different aesthetic look. Well, I'm just going to wait here and wait for an iron golem to drop just to be sure that we're still working, and I'll give you an update when I have one to give you. Literally, the moment I stopped recording. This guy, he just decides to fall down. Hello, Mr. Iron Golem. How are you oh, ouchie. Ow, stop that. Okay, so this is why we need to do a little something more to this farm, because we can't stand here punching and wasting our durability on our sword. And we can't get too close because these guys are rather violent creatures if you upset them. So we're going to finish this off with a little bit of lava. And there's number 3. We've had a third iron golem drop in the time that I've gone and gotten some lava and a few trapdoors, which we need to grab right now. There we go. And we're going to place down trapdoors right here, I believe. Yeah, because the lava goes right above that. There, and there, and there. 4 trapdoors, all we need. And then we place lava here. And I think that would do it, but just for symmetrical purposes, that's odd. Is that supposed to happen? I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Can stone actually catch on fire? We're going to place another lava bucket right there and catch everything on fire, including ourselves. Wow. That is strange. I don't know how I feel about that, but hello, there's number 4. Iron Golem number 4. So you can see this is a pretty consistent and efficient farm. I would encourage you to build it in your world if you're looking for a consistent source of iron, and we lost all of that iron, sadly, because the fire burned it up. That's why we need step number 400 of this build. We need to go get some hoppers and a chest so that we'll auto-collect, and hopefully those hoppers can't catch on fire. I don't think they can. I've literally never seen that before. All right, almost done with the build. Thanks for sticking with me. I know this is a little bit of a long episode, but we're going to place a chest down there. My goodness, this thing just keeps on catching on fire. I literally had no idea stone could catch on fire from lava directly above it. That is news to me. How many of you guys knew that before? Okay, here we go. So this should be working. Perfect. Our potatoes are flowing through the system, and any iron golems that fall down into here will dispense their iron and poppies directly into our system. Just double checking different hoppers here. And yeah, it's working. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for today's episode. We have done a little bit of aesthetic work on this concerning like the villager chambers, the laboratories. But there's quite a bit more aesthetics to do when it comes to integrating this with the base. This was basically just a functional build today to get this up and running, and we're going to do a lot of the visual design stuff in a later episode. Speaking of later episodes, we've only got one more before the world download. So episode 14 is next, and then episode 15 is the world download. So be looking out for that. I hope you guys are excited just as much as I am to get this world into your hands, and it's going to be fun. So let me know what you liked about this video in the comment section, and if you really enjoy the content on my channel, feel free to go check out my Patreon page. I've got a lot of really cool rewards, including a realm that more and more people are joining these days, and you can get in on the fun as well. Be sure to check that out if that's interesting to you, and I would really appreciate that. But for now, my name is BluJay, and I've got to fly on out of here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.